Yo, what's up, guys? We got PrizePicks Taco Tuesday. I'm going to keep this live stream pretty brief. We got Devin Booker discounted from 28.5 to 24.5 points. If you look at a sports book, so like what's cool about FanDuel is they have alternate points lines. Is you'll see Booker, his line is in general at 28.5 with the over slightly favored, minus 128 favorite on the over 28.5. The over 24.5 is a minus 320 favorite. So, this play has a pretty high win rate, minus 320. So in general, if you go through the math, kind of behind PrizePicks Tacos, they have I think it's like an 80% win rate. You should basically be playing every single PrizePicks Taco. Anyways, Josh Giddey over 21.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Anyways, let's find some bets that we can pair with this. So we'll start out here. Let's start out with hockey, right? So we have Jack Hughes over 4.5 shots on goal. And again, I follow a very data-driven strategy, obviously, is, we got two overs to start out this slip. It's kind of PrizePick strategy, pretty simple. You take a player's over or his under, you get the same payout. Any two-pick entry is a 3x payout. So they have fixed payouts. You take an over, you take an under, you get the same payout regardless. So what you want to do is compare the lines on PrizePicks to sportsbooks, right? And you'll see Pinnacle, which is known to be a really sharp book, as well as Bet Online, another really sharp book. They both have Jack Hughes, heavily favored, minus 143 favorite. We're following market data points. You can look at the line movements, but whatever, everything's baked into the market. Two of the sharpest books, there's not a ton of books with his line at 4.5, I guess, but two of the sharpest books have his line at 4.5, and they have the over heavily favored, which is why you want to go with the over. The over is the more likely outcome. PrizePicks has fixed payouts, so we want to take the over. Then we got a CS2 play. So esports play, I don't really give a shit what I'm betting on if there's value. And what's great about esports is, there's no NFL today. We have a literal joke of an NFL game on Thursday. Patriots Steelers. Not gonna be a particularly exciting game, is my assumption. But anyways, it's you only got one NFL game on Thursday, whereas esports, these guys go hard. There's 50 games a day. It's actually crazy how much esports there is. So long story short, there's a lot of opportunity in esports, more surface area, for books to cover, more opportunities for them to fuck up their lines and for there to be profitable bets. So the best advice I got when sports betting is just treat your bets like you're trading a stock, right? PrizePicks has this stock, Lake at 33.50. Then you got all these other data points. Everything is baked into the market. The lines on sports books, the odds they're putting out. So we want to take him under 33.5. Dang, this game starts tonight. So we're going to have an esports sweat we can turn on tonight with party astronauts. But anyways, PrizePicks has this line at 33.5. Not a ton of other data points, but we got 4 other books posting esports lines. They all have him at 31.5 or 32.5. And you can see Hot Streak actually has his line, first of all, 2 points lower at 31.5. And they have the under favored or the under juiced. So we're using all this market information. Again, everything's baked into the market, the odds, the lines books are putting out. So we're using market information to, get an edge or whatever. So then we got a college basketball play. Again, on PrizePicks, you got to win above 54.25% of your picks to be profitable. So college basketball, I think you can bet college basketball in most states, maybe not. And, a lot of people like to look at these last 5 grabs, but I recommend don't do that. It's not useful. It's not as useful as you may think because, again, every game is different and everything's baked into the market, right? So sure, he went over 4 out of the last 5 games, but again, maybe it's lineups, maybe it's injuries, every game is different, which is why you want to be following market information. So we could go with this. We can see what else is out there. Let's make our little PrizePick slip. So where do we want to go to? We can also, because this play on Devin Booker is so good, we can always go a little lower, dabble a little lower. So we have Nurkic to make a 3. We got some different options, but do we want to take this Miles Kelly play? I mean, I know college basketball is not legal in every state, so I hesitate a little. But what you can also do is like, let's finish this slip so we can move on to other books. We got NBA starting in 27 minutes, it looks like. So we have Kevin Durant, but that doesn't really make sense. We don't want to take Booker and Kevin Durant together. So anyways, maybe we lock in a CS2 play, another CS2 play. So we'll stick to sports everyone else can bet on. So we have Donk under 24.5 headshots, right? 54.25. And then how do we feel about some of these other plays? I mean, what do we want to go with? So for example, we have, Sengun under 5 assists. So if you go here, what we can do is just kind of like take a look. So this game's not even till tomorrow. So maybe we just go here. We can take another esports play, find some esports value. I mean, whatever. Let's lock in our Taco Tuesday, and then we can move on to another book. So here it's like, okay, we have, 3 esports plays under. Let's just make sure I got it right. I don't want to fat finger anything. We got under, over, and then we can lock in this play. And then we got the Devin Booker Taco, which again, he's a big favorite, minus 320 to go over 24.5 points. Minus 300 means a 3-1 favorite, 75% to win, right? So these tacos have a hit rate, I think, of like 80%. So you should be taking every single one. And so I would bet more on this, but you'll see PrizePicks says, you can only bet $25. Anyone still slamming shit? Oh, the max you can play when you're betting this Taco Tuesday is $5. So, I mean, I would put more on it. It's not that I'm not excited about this play, but, the books determine your max bet sizes for promos, stuff like that as well. But anyways, we got a ton of games. We got a ton of sports books to look at. So maybe we move on to Underdog Fantasy. I don't know. Ooh, baby, we got a good start to our esports play from last night. You can actually see this play still available. So again, Underdog Fantasy, they have different lines than PrizePicks. That's why you want to have both. Would I have played D'Angelo Russell under 6.5 assists on PrizePicks for Taco Tuesday? I mean, yeah, sure. But this line's not available on PrizePicks. It's only on Underdog, right? The market's fragmented. All these books set their own lines. So you can see, for D'Lo, all the books have his under heavily favored. So this is a good play you can go with on Underdog Fantasy. I'm already on it from the play I gave out on yesterday's live stream. It looks like they haven't moved it. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to be able to play that. And we got some plays on PrizePicks for Taco Tuesday. Again, if you want to tail the Taco Tuesday play, this is what I locked in. And what we can do next is we can go over to Underdog Fantasy. More books, better, more profitable betting opportunities. So again, we got this play on D'Lo, but I'm not going to be able to bet it again because I already bet it, and they limit me to a max of $100 on NBA players, which is bullshit, but it's just kind of how it is, right? So unfortunately, it looks like there's some decent esports plays. I mean, we found that play on Lake. PrizePicks has line at 33.5. The other books have line lower. If you look at Panics, I mean, Underdog has this line at 31, Hot Streak 27.5. It looks like there's some decent value there. And again, you can go with the D'Lo play if you weren't on yesterday's live stream, but you'll also see 3 of these plays are in the same game. So that doesn't really help us. But what we can do is we can also filter out PrizePicks just in case, you can filter in whatever books you want. But you can see we already have this play on D'Lo. These aren't the highest profit margin plays in the world, but we do have some options. So we might as well lock in an Underdog slip. We got no reason not to. I hate this picture of Jimmy Butler, but what we got is Jimmy Butler over 4.5 assists. That's the first thing we want to start with. Again, I follow a very data-driven approach. All the books have his over heavily favored. If you go through the math behind Underdog Fantasy, I have some strategy videos kind of on the Odds Jam YouTube going through the math behind Underdog. But you'll see on Underdog, you got to win above 55% of your picks to be profitable. So, Underdog always gives you a 6x payout for 3-pick parlays. So if you look here, it's 100 to win 600. The reason I don't play 3-pick parlays on PrizePicks, and it really does matter long term, is they only give you a 5x payout. That's a 20% difference in terms of your ROI long-term playing 3-pick entries on PrizePicks versus Underdog. So just kind of understanding like how many picks should I be going with, on each platform is useful. Damn, I'm fucking wired. But anyways, what we can do is we can find some plays on Underdog Fantasy. So where do we want to start? Anyways, let's go back here and let's go here. And what did we want to start with? Jimmy Butler over 4.5 assists. All the books, everything's baked into the market. All the books have him heavily favored to go over. And then it's like this play on Jack Hughes, we already have it in our PrizePicks taco, but it does look good. It's also available on Underdog. So we could include it again. We have Josh Hart over 16.5 PRAs. So maybe it's like, okay, whatever. We can add Josh Hart. So that can be our second pick. Oh, Jimmy Butler plays actually for tomorrow. But whatever. Early bird gets the worm. I don't really care, right? If there's a game, if there's value, there's value. So what else do we want to go with? So we can take this esports play. Again, it's like not a ton of data points right here. Like if you look at him, 31, 30.5, 27.5. But hey, we got some good picks we can go with. We can double down on Hughes over 4.5 shots if you want to. It's kind of up to you. And maybe we run a little 5-pick entry. So on Underdog Fantasy, 3-pick or 5-pick entries are, optimal. If you kind of go through the math, which you can see I have done in my little spreadsheet, 2-pick entries, 3-pick entries. So for example, well, let's just finish this slip first. Anyways, we got this play on Josh Hart. I'm not going to be able to play the D-Lo play. Damn, there are a lot of bets showing up right now. We have Kevin Durant under 5.5 assists. Okay, so let's go here. And this will be our play, right? So now we have a 5-pick entry, right? And we can play this with insurance. With insurance is optimal. Just a tad. But in general, 5-pick entries, it doesn't really matter. You play with or without insurance. And you can see they already locked the Jack Hughes play. So what we can do is just play this as a 4-pick entry with insurance. I mean, are there any other plays we want to go with? You can add in the D-Lo play if you want to. This seems like add in Russell under 6.5 assists. Honestly, those plays probably pair well together too. So we got a big NBA game tonight. But regardless, let's just lock in this play as a 4-pick uninsured entry. Esports NBA. Esports NBA slip. But again, what it boils down to is if you, on Underdog, basically, for a 3-pick entry, we're always getting the same payout. 6x payout. It doesn't matter what 3 picks you select. Switch this to a different player. You're always getting a 6x payout over, under, whatever. You're always getting a 6x payout. So it all boils down to win rate. What percentage of your picks can you win? And for 3-pick entries, let's say you can win 57% of your picks, right? So you can win these over-unders. Just like Durant, over-under 29.5 points. If you can win these over-unders 57% of the time, you win 57, only lose 43% of your picks. Your ROI playing 3-pick entries will be 11%, which is in my spreadsheet. It just takes you through the payouts. It's not complicated. Whereas for 3-pick entries with insurance, if you play your 3 picks with insurance, for that same win rate, right? Winning 57, you win 57, only lose 43% of your picks. Your ROI would be negative 2.53%. So you go from 11% playing them with no insurance to negative 2.53% if you click the insurance button. So just again, knowing the optimal number of picks to go with on each platform is for sure useful. So where do we want to go to next? So maybe it's okay, let's put PrizePicks back in. I don't know if this is the last taco of the day. I slept through one of the first ones, but regardless, we can go to Fliff next. So I try to focus on, the main books legal in a bunch of states. I mean, there's hundreds of sports books out there. There's 215 sports books on OddsJam. There's good bets on all of them. Here's a great play on FanDuel, right? You can see Pinnacle has been taking a dive towards the under. Looks like FanDuel's a little stale, offering plus 230. There's good bets on a bunch of different sports books. It all just kind of depends, what state you're in. I just try to focus on the main books, Fliff, Underdog, PrizePicks, because they're legal in the most states. But anyways, what we can do is we can go to Bobby Portis under 7.5 rebounds. So this is in the Bucks game. So we got to play on PrizePicks. We got our Taco Tuesday. We now have, some good lookers on Underdog Fantasy, which is great. And we have a 4-pick insured entry. So again, like if you played 3 picks, no insurance. But what we can do now is we can go to Fliff. So let's go here. And the first play OddsJam is recommending is Bobby Portis under 7.5 rebounds. So I try to move quick. Fliff has a max bet size of 250. Again, you want to use Fliff cash. That's real money. Fliff coins is fake money. Like it literally is useless. You want to use Fliff cash. That's real money. And we can see what we have open, some random bets. But anyways, if we go back here, you can see it's like, okay, like the way I was taught to think about sports betting, which is the best way, unless you have a team of PhDs and you want to, do some crazy model. I mean, like creating a better model than FanDuel Sportsbook, these people who, I have my own algorithm that finds bets. It's like, that's bullshit. This is a $10 billion company. So is this. You're not creating a better model than FanDuel and Caesars. And most importantly, they're taking bets, right? They are moving around lines based on where sharp action's coming in, where are their profitable customers betting. FanDuel is dialed in, like if all of their profitable sharp customers are playing Bobby Portis's under, what do you think they do? They're not fucking stupid. They move lines towards the under. They have his under heavily favored at minus 152. All these books have Bobby Portis heavily favored to go under 7.5 rebounds. Fliff is still offering minus 120. Fliff is the only book with his over favored. They have more juice towards the over on Fliff, which doesn't make any sense because all the books have the under favored. And again, like, OddsJam is a simple tool. It really just scans the tens of thousands of lines on each of these sports books. I mean, there's limitless crap you can bet on Fliff, Underdog, whatever. And just points out, hey, like here's an interesting play that actually has value. And finding value in the market is like the first step to being a profitable bettor. But anyways, so we got Bobby Portis under, KD over, 40.5 PRAs. So we can go here to the Suns game. And let's take a look. KD over 40.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. And I really think about my sports betting, just like an investor, right? Creating a diversified portfolio. Every single bet has an edge. Here's another one, minus 125. Not every bet will win. Believe me, I'm aware. It's just kind of, we know if we have the edge, if the coin is weighted in our favor, we'll win long term. And you can kind of like filter out books if you don't want to see them. But so sometimes I play around with this. It's just information overload. Today's a slower day. We only have 2 NBA games, but sometimes when there's, a ton of bets, a ton of games, it's just like overwhelming to see too much information. Anyways, let's go back here. Let's see what else is on Fliff. Are there any arbitrage plays available? So there are some good arbitrage plays, right? So arbitrage is when 2 books, have such different odds, and OddsJam now has a direct link to make arbitrage betting easy, right? Where like you can click and it will take you right to the specific market on FanDuel. Josh Hart, under 8.5 rebounds plus assists. But anyways, let's see if there's any other plays on Fliff first before we talk about arbitrage. So we got 2 plays on Fliff. Nurkic over 9.5 rebounds. I mean, hey, we might as well add it, right? Why not? So let's go here, and then we can kind of go through all our bets for tonight. So we have player rebounds, and we want to go with, Nurkic over 9.5. So again, like you'll see value on a bunch of different. So you can see here, it's like more data points, minus 145 on DraftKings. More data points is better, right? You can actually like switch your state to Alabama or something, and you'll see like, every sports book. I mean, there's literally all these sports books with sophisticated models, ESPN, DRF, more data, more data, more data. That's more data, more information, more power, better bets as a sports bettor. So anyways, arbitrage again is when 2 books, like all these books set their own lines, right? Like all these books are taking different bets. So they're moving around lines in different ways, whatever. All these books have different odds, and when 2 books get super out of sync, when the market is in such disarray, you can bet the over on one book, the under on another book, and make a risk-free profit, which is essentially what we have on this, Josh Hart play. So we'll go back to PrizePicks and Underdog. The games start in 12 minutes. But just as a simple example, minus 105, plus 112, it's like, okay, let's go through this quick. How does this work? Like how do you make money off this play? So Fliff has a max bet size of 250. So again, like there's this huge discrepancy between FanDuel and Fliff, right? So Fliff has a max bet size of 250. So this is called a hedge calculator, an arbitrage calculator. And it tells you, hey, bet 230.23. So just round your number to like 230 on FanDuel, and you'll make a risk-free profit of $7.86. It may not seem like a lot of money, a risk-free $8, but this is a risk-free return you're getting back today. This is a free $8 for literally 20 seconds of work in placing a couple bets. 20 seconds of work for a risk-free $8, sitting at home in your boxers, drinking a beer. So, we can kind of go through the math, is when two books get so out of sync, you bet the over on one book, the under on another book, make a risk-free profit. That's arbitrage betting. That's how I started sports betting. And if he goes over, we lose our bet on FanDuel. We lose 230, which is what this calculator told us to bet. But on Fliff, we make 250, right? We bet at minus 105 odds. So we make 250 times 100 over 105, 238. So we make $8 in net profit, right? If he goes under, we lose 250 on Fliff. That's what we bet. And on FanDuel, we make 230 times 1.12. That is not what I meant to do. We win this times 1.12. We bet 230 at plus 112 odds. So regardless of what happens, we make $8, right? That's arbitrage. It's like buying a stock at 105 and then flipping it, selling it for 112 on another platform. Wow, you can see a lot of NFL lines are kind of moving around. Jaguars, Browns. So you can see DraftKings had this minus 135, the Browns. They just ripped that to minus 155. So Jaguars, Browns is getting interesting. But anyways, let's go back here. Let's see if there's any bets before the game start. We got 10 more minutes. We can also pull up, the more books you have, the better. So ParlayPlay. Honestly, there's not a lot of value on ParlayPlay right now, which is crazy because usually there's a shit ton of value on ParlayPlay. Or I lied. There's actually a lot of value. I just had to refresh. So what we can do is maybe we can make a ParlayPlay slip. I mean, let's see first. Obviously, it's not the most popular platform in the world, but it's like, okay, we got the good plays in general on Fliff. So it's like, okay, we can check out PrizePicks again, Underdog. Like, is there anything calling our name? But really, as a sports bettor, it's good to be opportunistic. Like, we want to follow the value, right? So you can see there's some more esports plays on PrizePicks. 3 actually pretty good ones, pretty good line discrepancies. Underdog Fantasy, it's kind of more of the same. So maybe we lock in a ParlayPlay slip. It seems like that's where the value is today. So the first play is, again, like never know which book is going to screw up on a different day. We have this player, Eku, 28.5, 25.5, 27, 26. Like, they have their line too high. You could also middle bet this, hit the over 28.5, under 28.5, hit the over 25.5. If he has 26 to 28, you win both bets. That's called a middle. It's like buying a stock at 110, selling it at 120. But anyways, what we can do is just go here, and we can lock in that as our first play. And let's just get rolling. AD, over 15.5 rebounds plus assists. Ryan, under 17.5 PRAs. So it's like, what we can do is we can also just filter it in here. Like the strategy is the same. ParlayPlay is another one of these fixed, payout websites. Right? They don't change your payout, right? Based on you selecting over versus under. They actually have the same payouts as PrizePicks for they have the same payouts as PrizePicks for 6-pick entries. Their 7-pick entries are a little better, but I mean it's basically the same. So usually I'm playing, there's just a lot of green. So it's like, okay, let's kind of take a look. So we have Kevin Durant under 5.5 assists. We already have this on Underdog Fantasy. But again, like, who cares? Like, I'm fine to double down, have a little more exposure. And it looks like there's just a lot of value in college basketball right now. But what we can do is just be like, okay, let's kind of take a look here at this esports play. Is this play in the same game? So these plays are in the same game for esports. So we're not even going to, we're not going to be able to play them together. But anyways, let's take a look at like Mitchell Robinson PRAs. And let's take a look at his PRA line. They have his line at 16.5. Let's see the rest of the market real quick before the game starts. Or we want points plus rebounds plus assists. And let's take a look. So we want Mitchell Robinson, right? And it's like, okay, like PrizePicks has his line at 17. Underdog 17.5 in general, the sports books, Caesars, all these billion-dollar companies, sophisticated-ass models. They're taking bets, moving lines around based on where sharp action's coming in. All these other data points have his line 17, 17.5, 18.5. Pinnacle or Penny, the sharpest book, they have his line at 17.5 with the over heavily favored, minus 121 favorite. Not heavily favored, but the over favored. So it's like, okay, like ParlayPlay has their line too low. So we want to take the over. It doesn't really make sense to take Giannis's under with that. Like, it doesn't make sense to take Mitchell Robinson over and Giannis under. Two players on, opposing teams. But anyways, whatever. Let's go to Donovan Mitchell or LeBron, PRAs, rebounds plus assists. So LeBron over 14.5 rebounds plus assists. So, right, this can be our 5th pick. And then we have, Dylan Brooks over 10.5 points. I mean, you may hate the guy, but all the books have him heavily favored to go over 10.5 points. So it's like, okay, we can take him over 10.5 points. And this is going to be a 7-leg parlay. I will just play the optimal number of, the optimal number of plays just by a little bit is these 7-pick entries. I'll play 6 picks from time to time just because it's easier to find 6 good picks as opposed to 7. And, the math breakdown is roughly the same, but whatever, for the sake of argument, let's just take a 7-pick entry. So anyways, what we can do is we can just lock this in now, right? The max they're giving me, it says max allowed is $35. So that's kind of the tough thing about sports betting is these books determine your max bet sizes, not you. So here we go. This is our, this is our entry, right? So that's what we got going on. And we can go back here, see if there's anything else. Not a lot of the same crap, So ParlayPlay, there's probably some more value, but again, it's not the most popular platform in the world. So let's just kind of move on for now. And there's some value on PrizePicks as well. I mean, we could place another PrizePick slip, but it would probably be a lot of the same crap. I mean, Giannis under 46.5 PRAs. This play looks interesting. We can follow the market. Just like the price of a stock, economic news, ton of things are impacting it. All the books have Giannis heavily favored to go under. You can see they already bumped up Jack Hughes, so that's the hard thing. But anyways, what we can do is we can go here. I mean, we can lock in Giannis under. I have no problem with that. So this game's actually starting in 13 minutes. We have a little bit of time. But let's go to Giannis under 46.5 PRAs, right? So all the books, Pinnacle, Bovada, the sharper books, they have us under pretty heavily favored. I mean, this isn't the highest EV play in the world, but, whatever. Might as well get some fun sweats on for tonight. So then we can check out, like, okay, what about these other esports plays? Seems like PrizePicks, Underdog, all these books are releasing their esports lines. And it's like, okay, like Nasrak, PrizePicks got his line a little too high. So we can go here to CS2, right? We want to take his under. Damn, this game's tonight too. We want the under 29.5 right here. Again, all the other books, treat it like trading a stock. You're selling at $29.50 when the average price in the market is $28. Seems like a good deal. We got Dobu over 31.5. So I just try to move quick because, again, like these good lines, they won't last forever. So the quicker you can move, obviously, the better. We already have this play on Lake, but I mean, who gives a shit? Like we'll double down on it. And we don't already have a play. There's no plays in the same game because we can't do that for esports anyways. So we can refresh this. I mean, anything new, or do we even have enough value to create a full prize pick slip? So we have KD, we have Portis, we have Nurkic, Paul George over 22.5 points. It's like, okay, sure, whatever. This can be the final play we go with. Paul George over 22.5 points. Such a random slip, but hey, if, that's what the market's telling us to do, all the books have PG heavily favored to go over 22.5 points. It's like, fuck it, let's get some more exposure. PrizePicks again, like beat them up too bad, made too much money off them, $25 max, but like whatever, we'll take it. And here we go. We got another entry. So we cleared out PrizePicks. Again, depending on the book you use, I'm sure there's good bets on DraftKings, Caesars, FanDuel. They're just legal in less states, so I try not to focus on them, as much. But there's always fucking good bets on DraftKings. DraftKings, definitely an exploitable sports book. So anyways, thanks so much for your time.